Hi guys, it's Melissa with Melissa Peterson Designs. I am finally getting moving on some of my projects. Hang on a second. I am going to start back on my prayer wall. I got the wall pretty much done. I'm working on edging the stairway down, and I've got a sign here I'm going to make, or a canvas I'm going to make. And I was initially going to stencil the wall, but I decided to do a canvas that way in case, you know, we have to do anything different. I can keep this and I don't have to paint over it, you know, because sometimes we change our minds like that. Good morning, how you doing? So I'm going to show you how I prep my distress signs. And I get my canvases at Hobby Lobby normally. I get the Grandeur collection because I like how thick they are. They're about 1.5 inches thick. I did not check yesterday because I've noticed the last month there's been an issue with getting a supply in. So they've been very, the shelves have been empty, or sparse I should say. So I'm going to show you how I get my distressed sign. I work with the background first. I'm doing the ums now, sorry. And you know how the canvas kind of has a rough edge, which is okay, but I want to make mine a little bit rougher. And I use Joy Compound. I use the lightweight. I get it from Falvey's. You could do any hardware store. And I have like a spatula. Normally I have a bigger one, but I can't find it. You know, when you organize, you can't find anything. So I'm going to show you how I prep this. I'm going to just basically set this up, and then I'll have to let this dry for a good 24 hours. And when that's dry, then I'll take it outside with a 220 grit sandpaper or sandblock, and I'll roughly sand off the rough edges. And then when that's done, I'll come back and I'll paint this all black to start with. And when I get to that point, I'll come back on probably Monday or Tuesday and show you how I go from there. So because I'm not ready to share my wall yet till I get my sign done. So I got a combination of caviar on there, driftwood from Dixie Belle, and I even used their bronze patina on my wall. So I'm probably going to do kind of the same thing because I really wanted to do this in white lettering and have the white lettering stand out. And then I have some Hobby Lobby wood flowers I'm planning on putting around it. So I'm going to show you how I do this. So I just get a great big chunk up, and most of this is going to coming back off. And it's like, I don't know if it's like frosting a cake or a cookie or whatever you want to think, but it's just a lot of fun. So I'm just working it into the fabric. I'm spreading it around. And as long as you get your lid on the container really good, this Joy Compound will last a while. I think this bucket cost me about $13. And I'm about halfway done. And I think I bought that in July, I'm guessing. Gotta be careful, I just took the sign off my table. So I'm just working it into the corners and the edges. Get that more on the table. Nope, that's paper. Thought that was compound. And just keep working it right up to the edges. So far I'm not going to add any more because I think I've got plenty on there. And it is messy. And when you get done, do not rinse your spatula in the sink. Wipe it down first with a paper towel because you don't want this going down your drain. If I did something like that, Meryl would probably wring my neck. And I'm probably going to have to add more. Come on. And if you get any along the sides, just kind of scrape it off, no problem. because when we get done tomorrow, or when I get done tomorrow, I'll just go through and just sand along the sides too. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more. I really like working on these bigger canvases. They're fun to do. And depending on the size of the canvas, the back of the canvas might have like a wood bar in the middle. This one doesn't. This is a 24 by 24. And Hobby Lobby has them on sale usually every other week. So that's when I usually buy them. I didn't say how much they were. So this canvas was $39.99 before the sale. So I got it for about $20. So I always wait until they're on sale, but it's been a while since I've been able to buy any. There we go. Yeah, it's just kind of like frosting a cake or a cookie is what it reminds me of. So I hope you guys are having a great week. Let me know that you're on, what you're up to. Almost there on the last corner. And then I'll show you what I do. So yeah, I have plans on coming back on Monday or Tuesday, and I'll show you how I get the different colored backgrounds and what I do, because I don't use a paintbrush normally. So I'm just using joint compound to add some texture on some canvas I get from Hobby Lobby. It's the Grandeur collection, so it's the thicker canvas. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so normally I do a pattern where I kind of stair step it. So I'll just go down and I just crisscross, and I don't worry about the jagged edges, because when it dries tomorrow I'll come back and sand it lightly. And there'll be some spots where you'll have to go back over it again because they'll leave like a little fisheye pot mark, which is no big deal because you got a little playroom here. But I like the step mark pattern. And if you have a different pattern, you can kind of like me, just kind of play with it. And normally I turn off my ceiling fan so it doesn't dry out as fast. And I forgot to do that, but with me working like this, I'll probably break out into a sweat. Because you know redheads, we tend to sweat easily. We glisten, I should say, not sweat. Okay. I'm almost done. There's no right or wrong. Okay, I think that's it. So I just scrape off the extra, and then I'll use a wet paper towel and I'll wipe that clean instead of doing it down the drain. So this will have to dry. I'll wait till tomorrow, and then I'll come back and sand it with the 220 grit sandpaper, and then I'll get the rough edges, and after that, I'll paint it caviar, Dixie Belle's caviar, and then I'll come back on Monday or Tuesday and I'll show you how I do my background painting on here, because I do not use a paintbrush. So you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Designs. Happy Friday. Did not make it on this Monday and Tuesday to do my canvas. The organization bug kind of hit me, so I kind of had to go with it. And then I was struggling with a few of the videos I was trying to upload or download off my phone. This is my canvas that I worked on last week, and I painted it black after it dried. I don't know if you can see the texture on there so far. I'm going to show you how I add my background to these without using a paintbrush, and my secret is the briar roller. So I usually have a paper plate, a briar roller, and then my paints, and I tend to stick with a family of colors. And I want to do the lettering in white, so I will not be doing any white with the background, but the lightest I'm going to go is Dixie Belle's Driftwood. I've got Dixie Belle's Hurricane Gray, and of course the Caviar. I'll be using that periodically on here. And then you probably won't see it today, but when I get done, I'll end up doing the same technique and adding Dixie Belle's Bronze Patina, because I want it to kind of match my wall up there a little bit. So there's no rhyme or reason. I'll go ahead and start with the driftwood. I've got it technically opened up, so I gotta be careful here. I pour a little bit out on the plate. I do have my heat gun handy. I normally don't use my heat gun. I just usually will do a step and kind of walk away and come back after that section dries. Okay, so I probably have too much paint there. And I'll just roll it in there. It's a flat briar brush. Kind of offload a little bit. And I just kind of go in patterns. Do it irregular patterns, and that texture from what I've already have on there will kind of catch some of the paint. And I just do this technique in layers. So if you got any questions, let me know. But I'm just working on my prayer canvas. I have a stencil that I want to use on this. So when I do get done with this, I'm going to go ahead and seal it, and then I'll do a stencil on it probably next week. With Dixie Belle, you don't have to seal because it's got a sealer in it, but sometimes I'll leave it undone. But normally I do use a flat sealer for my projects. And right now it's going to look like a hot mess. And I go clear up to the edges and just kind of go back and forth. And this is how I did my family sign for the Peterson homestead. Thankfully I brought a couple paper plates, because normally I just keep reusing the same plate over and over again. Good morning, guys. How you doing? If you're hopping on, let me know that you're here, what you're up to. I've got my contacts in, so I might be able to see. Okay, and a lot of times when I do get done painting with my briar roller, if I'm still not done with my project, I do not clean it. I'll just let it air dry, because that'll add more texture. So that is just the first layer. And if I add more paint on there now of a different color, it's going to get muddy. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little drying. It won't take very long. But as you can see, I used way too much paint on my plate. I might come back and use that up later. It just kind of depends on the look I get and if I like it. Oh, Pepper doesn't like that sound. She doesn't like dryers. this canvas. I was at Hobby Lobby yesterday, I forgot to look. I get these canvases at Hobby Lobby, which I forgot to look again yesterday, to see if they were getting them back in stock because they were having issues with supply. And I usually buy them when they're half off. And they usually have their sales about every other week usually. Okay. And then I switched to a different color. I got a new blog post out on my website, Melissa Peterson Designs. I finally am sharing some of my photos of my fireplace mantle we finally got done. There's a section in there where I kind of show pictures of Meryl helping me with part of the project. I don't recommend following those steps. It's kind of like we had to make do with the supplies we had on hand. We have some really tall baseboards, and we were not going to cut the baseboards to attach the fireplace mantle. So we had to make room on the back side of the mantle. So you'll have to check that out. So there's the Hurricane Gray, and I'm just going straight over with the briar brush or the briar roller, and just do the same thing. Now on the canvas, sometimes I'll rotate the canvas around, which I'll probably do next time, so it kind of changes up the pattern. I'll go back over a spot that might be heavy and just kind of spread it out a little bit. To me, this is just messy fun. So if you want a textured background, this kind of reminds me of industrial granite when it gets done. It's different. Turn this around before I forget again. So that is Caviar, Driftwood, and Hurricane Gray so far. Let me do a little drying, and I'm going to go back and do Caviar again. There we go. Good morning, guys. How you doing? I'm working on my canvas background for my I'm going to do a prayer stencil on here, Psalms 91:11, when I get all done here. And that'll probably be next week, because when I get done doing the background, I'll have to seal it, and I'll let that cure for a day or two. And then I'll just go ahead and do my stenciling like I do with wood signs and stencil the canvas. And with the textured background, it's a little bit different stenciling, because it's kind of part stenciling and I part use a small brush along the edges because there's texture on here, and I don't want the paint to go underneath, so I'll probably pop in and show you how I do that. And then I kind of fill it in, so. but you can see the texture from the joint compound I used last week is catching the paint and how it's leaving the pattern on there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it looks like a hot mess right now, but when I get done, I usually love the look. Okay, so now going back to Caviar, which is the base paint on here, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in the same plate as a Hurricane Gray. I just need a little bit, and that might need watered down a little bit, it's a little thick. Okay, same briar brush. There we go. Okay, yeah, I turned it. And this just kind of pulls the black back out again. And if you get heavy, I just kind of go back over it again and just kind of push it around. I think I should put my hair up. It's kind of driving me nuts. If you got any questions, let me know. But this is how I've been doing my distress signs. On the canvases. So I got a line going here, so I might come back and kind of mute that a little bit here in a little bit. And I'm just going in an irregular pattern. Got any questions, let me know. Let me know what you think of this. Too much of a hot mess for you? You kind of like it? Or you wonder, what the heck am I doing? There we go. Let's do that area again. And I just keep layering it until I get the look I want. And if I get an area that's too thin, I just kind of spread it out a little bit. I might come back with go back with my colors and do this again. It just kind of depends. Yeah, that's too light in there. And you gotta remember, when the paint dries, it kind of dries a little muted color too. Have you guys seen my family sign that I did this background in? Do you want me to go get that real quick? Let me know, okay? I can go grab that. That is Hurricane Gray, Driftwood, and Caviar. So I can let this dry, and then I can start the process over again and just keep building up the texture on there. And then when I get done, I'll add a little bit of the Dixie Belle's Patina and Bronze to kind of go with the wall that I did. Seal it, and I can do my stenciling. I'm gonna go grab my sign real quick and show you what I did. Give me about 1 minute or less. I did that with the same technique. Canvas, canvas from Hobby Lobby, same background, and I stenciled the Peterson on there. Let's see if I can do this right. There we go. So that's the background I'm doing for my stairway. So this canvas was from Hobby Lobby, and it has the bar in the middle since it's a longer canvas. I think it's a 24 by 48. So this is what I'm showing you how I'm doing. There we go. So I'll let this dry. I'll keep coming back and adding a little bit more until I get the look I want. I'll kind of keep an eye on it. I'll add my bronze patina, and then I'll call it good. So in the next week I'll show you how I do the stenciling on there with the canvas with the extra texture on there. So you guys have a great week. If you got any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna seal my canvas sign. I tried going on Facebook, but according to my phone, I don't have enough internet juice, I guess. So I'm gonna take a video here, and then I'll take care of it later. So I just wanted to show you what the canvas looked like. I added some of my bronze patina, and I've got my Dixie Belle flat, and I got just a regular artist brush that I like to use. And for this texture, I'll have to kind of apply it heavy and kind of go back and get in the crevices. I'll let it dry really good, and then I'll work on getting my stencil cut on my silhouette. And normally when I do my sealer, I usually go in the same pattern, but for this one I don't, because it's got a lot of texture to it, the same reason. I want to get it into those little pockets, but I just got to make sure and kind of spread it out so I don't have any sealer built up in those crevices. And the sides of my canvas, when I get all done, I'll have to go back. I kept it black, I kept it caviar, and I'll go back and clean it up and add another coat of caviar around the sides when I get all done to clean it up. So now you can kind of see all the texture when I'm applying this. Brush hair. I thought that's what that was. Oh shoot, hang on a second. There we go. Just used some tweezers and picked it up. Normally don't have that trouble when I lose a brush hair. Yeah, sealer is normally not applied like this, but with this texture, to get in all those little crevices, that's what I do here. And I have to go back and kind of spread it out because it gets caught up in those little pockets. And I just kind of work in a pattern like this. Might work my way across so I don't lose track of where I'm at. And also, if you kind of lose track, you can always lift it up and look in the sunlight, and you can kind of see what's shiny and what's not. I really like how this turned out. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm really loving this grungy, I don't know what you call it, industrial granite look. Distressed. It's just something a little bit different. And each one is different. I've done this with shades of white with gray and a little bit of blue mixed in. My favorite right now is the black. I did one with purples. I did a couple, I think, with purples. Okay, I'm gonna flip this around because I don't think my camera's gonna catch it. And I'm using the flat sealer. It's a matte by Dixie Belle, because I really don't want the shiny look. I want a little extra protection, but I don't want it to look like it's all sealed up in plastic. I want it to look like it pretty much does without it. And with the matte is the closest you can get to that with adding sealer. Okay, about one more row. Thank you for being so patient with me on this project. Sometimes you gotta step back and take a break and get some things done, and that's kind of what happened. I got an organization kick up in my craft room because it really needs it. I'm technically not done, but boy, it looks much better. I got a few things I gotta still put away, find a home for them. Yeah, this is not normally how to apply sealer, but for this project, that's how I do it, to get in all those little crevices that I made with the texture with the plaster of Paris or the joint compound. And then with the paint, okay, that kind of looks cloudy, but it should dry clear. So, in that area, I don't know if you can see that very well, but that is my sealer. I'll let that cure. That'll probably be the only coat I do for now, and then I'll come back and I'll apply the stencil. Okay, sorry about that. So that's the first coat of sealer, and I'll come back after it's cured and I will apply my stencil and show you how I stencil this. I'll probably have to do it on the video like I'm doing it now instead of live if I'm still having issues with the internet. So there we go. See you guys after a bit. Hey guys, went ahead and worked ahead, and I got the top half of the stencil done, and I wanted to show you how I fixed my bleeds, because when you got this textured canvas, when you got it all textured up like this, you're not going to have a complete seal around the stencils, so you'll get those nasty bleeds, and I'm going to show you how I fix it. My background of my canvas was originally caviar before I started building up the colors, so I'm going to go back and use the caviar and grab a brush, and I'll keep a paper towel handy because you'll have to kind of keep it clean. And I'm just going to go around the lettering and just kind of camouflage all those little bleeds. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. That's why I didn't prep my stencil with Mod Podge, because it was going to do it anyway. And also with this project, we kind of had a little snafu this past week. We lost our Jazz. I had to take care of him for a few days while he was going downhill, and so my stencil on the top half of this project was on here, and I normally don't recommend, if you put a stencil on, use it and then take it off as soon as you can, because you don't want to risk it adhering to your background and pulling up the paint. But I lucked out because I didn't even think about it, and yeah, it is what it is. So I'm just going around. I have a somewhat steady hand, not really, but so that means really anybody can do this. And if you want to take away some of the texture and not have that, but you still want the texture look, you can skip the joint compound step that I used on this and just do the paint, the layers of paint, because the chalk paint has that compound in there, that the minerals in there that kind of give it a textured look. That's why I like when you do use chalk paint, and if you mess up or if you have to start over or whatever, you have to sand it back down, and you have to sand it back down to the original wood, because it'll leave a raised area on there that will show through. With this type of background, like down the road, if I want to, I could come back over and do my brayer roller over it and just keep building up more color and just start over again, because it's got all these textures on here. So I'm just going around, and like some of the lighter areas, it looks like there's areas that are bled through, but I'm going ahead and going around, not all the letter, but just where I think it needs cleaned up. Because some of the lighter areas sometimes makes it look the word like it's bled through, and it really didn't. So I went ahead and went around that area just to kind of make it pop. And when it dries, you cannot tell when you step back and look at it. Right now it's standing out quite a bit, but when it dries, chalk paint kind of dries dull. So I'll just let you watch me fix my boo-boos. And when I don't do this textured background, this is not how I fix bleeds. When I'm working on a background that's not textured and I have bleeds, I'll use a baby wipe, and I might use my dental pick or like a pottery tool, and I'll lightly rub along the sides a little bit to kind of wipe the paint off. But if I do that, it'll have to be like within a couple of hours of painting, because you let this paint set for a while, it will seal. Especially, it's supposed to seal. See, I went a little too close. I have to come back here with the white, with my cotton. I got a little bit too close. See, somewhat steady hand. Just let it dry, and I'll come back and I'll fix that with the cotton. It's just paint. Just play with it and have fun. Oops, that might be a mess up there. There we go. See, even I have little shakes every now and then. Look at that E. That's a horrible E. If I would have taken my time with the stencil, I probably could have prevented a lot of this. This top half. The bottom half I did much better. So that's what happens. See, there's really not much bleeding there, but with the light there, it kind of looks like it is. So I'm just going to highlight a little bit so it kind of stands out. And if you have to move your canvas around to get a better angle, go for it. Pocket there I don't think got painted. Okay, when it starts getting built up on your brush, wipe it down and reload. You'll get a cleaner stroke that way. And also with this chalk paint, it's normally kind of thick. I did thin it a little bit. And also with it being open to air, it's kind of thickening up as I go. And if I need to, I'll just kind of thin it again a little bit to make it easier to flow on my paintbrush. It just kind of depends.